All right, let's talk about something that a lot of guys think about, but maybe don't talk about so much. Today, we're diving into male pattern baldness. We're going to break down exactly what it is, what to look for, and what's really going on.
So let's start with a moment that might feel a little familiar. Have you ever woken up, looked at your pillow, and thought, that's more hair than usual? Or maybe you see it in your comb or after a shower. It's that little moment of pause that makes you wonder, what's happening up there? And look, it's super easy to just brush it off. We tell ourselves, oh, I've had a stressful week, or maybe it's just the season changing. But it's really worth paying attention to, because it could be the very first hint of something a little more specific.
So let's start right there, with that very first sign. We're going to build a really clear picture of what this condition actually is from the ground up.
So what are we actually talking about here? Well, simply put, male pattern baldness is the #1 most common reason for hair loss in men. The key thing to get, though, is that it doesn't just happen overnight. It's a gradual process, which is actually a good thing. It gives you time to notice what's changing and really understand what's going on.
Okay, so since this whole thing happens slowly, what exactly should you be looking for? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of the common signs you can actually see for yourself.
The first big sign is often just a general thinning right on top of your head. You might notice your hair just doesn't feel as thick as it used to. Or maybe you see a little more scalp than you're used to, especially when your hair is wet.
Next up, we've got the classic one, the one everybody thinks of, the receding hairline. This is that pattern where the hair at your forehead starts to move back, sometimes creating that famous M shape over time.
Another really key spot to watch is the crown. For a lot of guys, the most noticeable change is a small, circular bald spot that starts to appear at the back top of the head. And over time, that spot can get a little bigger.
But here's something really interesting. It's not just about hair disappearing. It's also about how the hair that's still there changes. Right before a hair falls out for good, it often becomes way softer, shorter, and much finer, kind of like baby hair. This whole process has a name. It's called miniaturization, and it's a huge sign that the hair follicle itself is shrinking.
So, we've pretty much covered the what, right? Now let's tackle the why. Why does this even happen in the first place? Let's break down the factors that play a role.
You can basically think about the causes in two big buckets. First, you've got the inside factors, stuff that's pretty much out of your control. We're talking genetics, if your dad or grandpa had it, getting older, and a really important hormone called DHT, which can actually cause hair follicles to shrink. Then you have the outside factors, things like really high stress or a poor diet that can kind of speed things up. For most people, it's usually a mix of both.
All right, so with a good grip on the signs and the causes, what's the next move? This last part is all about a clear, simple path forward.
And honestly, the action plan here is refreshingly simple. It's not intimidating at all. Step 1 is just awareness, noticing these signs as early as you can. And step 2, just talk to a doctor or a dermatologist. They're the ones who can confirm what's going on and walk you through what options, if any, might be available.
And this is exactly why those two steps are so crucial. The big takeaway here is that taking action early can make a huge difference. It can really help slow down how fast the hair loss progresses.
So there you have it, a straight-up look at the signs, the causes, and the next steps when it comes to male pattern baldness. Just being informed is always the most powerful first move you can make. So now that you have the knowledge, the only question left is, what's your next step going to be?